All right, welcome to BAX TV, your number one channel that is solely interested in bringing to you technological tips. And this evening, I'll be taking you through how to prepare. I'll be taking you through a tutorial on how to prepare a well-structured CV. Good. So follow closely and you get the understanding of it. A well-structured CV that will help you to secure a good job. In subsequent times, we'll look at how to structure a CV again to meet scholarship applications and also for positions and other stuff. But for this particular tutorial, we'll be looking at how to structure a CV to apply for a job. To get a good job. All right. So once again, I'm Bright Hove Ahaji, BAX, your IT instructor. So we are zooming into action. All right, so we're looking at CV preparation. Good. So CV, we know the full name of a CV is what? A curriculum vitae. Now, when somebody asks, or you ask yourself, what is a curriculum vitae? So when you say a curriculum vitae, it's commonly abbreviated, of course, to CV, as you all know, and it's a Latin expression for the course of one's life. That is when we talk about curriculum vitae, it's basically the course of one's life. Yeah, so when you are preparing a CV or somebody should take hold of your CV, you should be able to see everything in the CV. And with that, there's no need to be asking a lot of questions that should have been captured in the CV. Yeah, so that is the introduction to it. So once a CV, it's a course of one's action. Good. So the best way to look at the CV is to see it as a marketing tool. Once a marketing tool or a sales brochure where you sell your skills, qualities, expertise, and potential to a prospective employer. So as I said earlier, when you pick your CV outrightly, you should be able to see a lot of stuffs in it, which will help you or which will help employer to quickly call you because of the expertise, the qualities, and the skills that you possess. So from here, we want to look at the component of a CV. We want to look at a component, the main structures of a CV, the major structures. There could be some other things that you may decide to add, but we want to look at the major structures of a CV. Major structures. So basically, these are the components of a CV. So the first component a CV should have is your personal information, or somebody will say your personal details. Your personal details. In subsequently, I'll be taking these ones one after the other, and I'll be explaining them to your understanding. Good. So the first item that should be captured in your CV is your personal information. That is your bio data. From there, you look at what your personal statement. Your personal statement. Others say your career objective. It can be personal mission statement or your career objective or goals or mission. Yes, they are all accepted. They are all part of it. It's a major part of your CV that will speak well about you to your employers. That is the prospective ones. Good. So the third component is what your achievement. When we talk about achievement, things that you have done in the past that is to your advantage, positions that you have held, awards you have won, discoveries you have made, and everything that is an achievement. You this is where we capture it. So from there we look at what education, your educational background, your school from basic school, your high school, your the university, college of education, vocational school, everything with regards to education. This is where you capture it here. You capture it here. Good. So the next one is what your work experience. Your work experience, where you have worked. You should capture all those things in your CV, and it's also another serious part because when you are applying to your prospective employers, they will have to see the position that you are applying for, and the past experiences you've had with regards to work. They should be able to see it. When they see it, then they know that with the position you're applying for, these are some of the experiences you have that will help the work. So you need to try and capture it. So another one is what? Your skills. Your skills. That is number 6. Your skills. Your skills must be captured. Your skills must be captured. So much. Good. So after that, we're looking at the hobbies and your interests. And the last one, that is number 8, is your references. The references that will be part. So basically, these are the main structures of a CV, or the basic components of a curriculum vitae. So we want to quickly begin with the first component. We want to look at the first component. Good. So we said the first component is your personal information. Your personal information. Now, this is very key. You cannot have a CV without the personal details. Now, the personal details section is located right at the top of a CV, and it's the first thing that a prospective employer will see. So over here, this section must contain the following information in a chronological order. That is what? Your name. The first thing that must come is your name, and this your name must be in full. Your name must come in full. Good. So it should be written in bold letters and centered on the page. Your name should come in full, and also your address. Your address must come. Your telephone number must come, and your email. Now, these are basically the details that you have to provide as far as the personal details are concerned. Now, there are other optional details with regards to personal information that in some instances you might not add it, apart from the fact that maybe the position that you are looking for demands for those information that may help in, or maybe an added advantage. But we call them optional details. The optional details could be, let's say, your your marital status, your gender, your date of birth, your nationality, and some of those things. You get it? So you should be, those are optional details. So this is an example of a personal information on your CV. That is the first item that we're looking at. So this is your full name written boldly at the top. You can make it initial caps, that is a sentence case, or all in caps. Then your address comes. Your address counts, that is your street name and others. Then your telephone number with your email. So basically, this is what you should have at the first component of your CV. Good. So that is the first information. But before we move to the next item on the CV, we want to look at some few tips that we need to consider when preparing a CV. The first tip that I'll be giving you is what? Anytime you are preparing a CV, most of the time we see people writing curriculum vitae at the top of the CV. For instance, let's say this. So you see people writing curriculum vitae. For instance, let's say at the top here, you see people writing curriculum vitae at the top. Then they will underline. They will underline it, and before they start to work. No. What we are saying is you must not add any curriculum vitae at the top. You must not add anything at the top. Just go straight to your name, write your name, your street name, your address, your phone number, and so the optional details, I mean, you can add them, but they are very optional. Your nationality, your date of birth, your gender, your marital status, languages spoken, I mean, they are optional, but you can still add them. So another tip that I'll be giving is, you should avoid unprofessional email addresses like, let's say, dark night at gmail.com, let's say crazy employer. No, it doesn't. These are examples of unprofessional emails. So use simple. I mean, use professional emails that you can easily be identified with. You may not necessarily have your names, but it should be a professional email. Example like what you have here. Yes. So, or let's say an example, IT instructor 429 at gmail.com. That is fine. It's a simple professional email. Yes. So that is it. So for the tips, that is it. Don't use unprofessional emails. And the optional details that I talk about, you must not include it. In instances where there's a benefit for including them, you just have to add them to your work. So that is it for uh, the first component. That is the first component of a CV. If you have some questions, please drop them in the comment sections. I'll be responding to them. Good. So the second point is, or the second component of a CV is your personal statement or personal profile statement. Others call it your career objective, your mission statement. Is the same thing. Now, what is a personal mission statement or personal profile statement? Over here, it's basically the second part of your CV, and it is a short statement that tells the prospective employer about the personal skills and qualities that you possess. Yes, everybody has a very unique skills and abilities with qualities alongside. We talked about the experiences that you have, your career goals, your ambitions. I mean, these are all things that you have to include in your personal mission statement, so that at the end of the day, you don't have to give room to your employers to be, asking a lot of questions. So over here, you ask yourself, what is my mission statement? With regards to, I said earlier that with regards to your job, you should be able to uh, 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 write a mission statement with regards to the job you're applying for. Definitely, your skills that you have to be geared towards the particular job you're looking for. If you don't have any interest for that job, then why do you have to apply for it? Yeah, so just don't go and apply. So you must have some objectives for the position that you're applying for. So the tips that will help you here is what? It should be very short, and it should not be more than 5 lines. Your career objective should not be more than 5 lines. And the second point is, it should be related to, or it should be relevant to the job you're applying for. Yes, it should be relevant to the job you're applying for. For instance, if you are looking for a job as an IT, let's say database administrator, your career objective shouldn't be centered on nutrition or food and hospital. No. It is not relating to the job you're applying for. So it must have a link. There should be a correlation between your career objective and the job you're applying for. So the third thing here is what? It must contain real world examples. I'll be sharing some examples with you so you'll be able to understand the third point clearly. You'll be able to understand the third point clearly. Good. So this is a very simple example. It's a very simple example. It's because of the way I've written it and the font size. That is how come it is more than 5 lines. Because I said earlier in the previous slide that it should be below 5 lines here. So this is an example. I am creative, imaginative, and resilient copywriter with a talent for developing effective written materials, including but not limited to. Yeah, so take note of this. So it means you are telling the prospective employer that you have talent for developing effective written materials, including the various things that you're about to mention, but not limited to. So one is corporate web content, emails, press releases, newsletters, articles, blog posts, social networking site posts. Yeah, so that is it. So you also add your educational background, a bit of it to it that adds to your career objective. So my first class honors degree in advertising and my extensive experience in this field is a testament to the passion and drive I have to succeed in this competitive industry. Now, with this, the previous slide, that is personal mission statement or personal profile statement, is saying that it should be very short and it should be relevant to the job you're applying for. Now, this person was you can see from the example or the objective that is applying for an IT related job, probably a content writer. You get it? A content writer or social media marketing. Let's say social media marketer or a digital marketer, that kind of. So he has given us the skills and the objectives in the various fields. Now, when you look at this part that I've highlighted, it's talking about a real world example. The person is talking about his first degree that he has obtained in a particular field. So how that field or the experience he has gotten from that field will help, blending with his passion, will help to drive the success of the position that he'll be given. That is in a competitive industry. So you are seeing that you are not just crafting good words on paper, but you are bringing in very nice and also real world examples to this particular thing. Now, I'll also be sharing with you some tips with regards to the personal profile statement. So, first of all, your personal profile statement must not be ambiguous. There should not be any level of ambiguity in your personal profile statement. It must be straight to point. I mean, it should also outline your personal characteristics as they relate to the role you are applying for. Do not go and copy anybody's work. Be very confident in yourself and write only positive things about yourself. Don't just be saying, let's say, we are excellent communication skills or can work well in a team and mind. No. Give real world examples. The employers will be able to see that this is what you can do. This is what you have done with your, maybe your certificate, your education, your training in a lot of things. This is how you've done it, or this is what you've been trained in. And coupling that with your skills and your passion, you can do the work. So that is it. Don't. One thing about curriculum vitae is it must reflect your true self. A curriculum vitae must not have any falsified content. If it is that, then it means that your CV cannot take you anywhere. So your curriculum vitae should have authentic, content. Everything you put there should be very factual. So the third item that we'll be looking at, I hope we are making sense anyway. So like I said, if you have some questions to ask, just drop them in the comment sections and we will respond to them. So the third item that we'll be looking at is the achievement. Okay, so it's not an easy thing. It is not an easy thing that you capture. In some instances, some people have not achieved anything. Well, if you have not achieved it, at least you were in your community, you were able to do some one or two things. At least you should be captured. Maybe you led some people. Anything that you have, participated in that has brought in some significant improvement or changes, it should be captured there. So let's look at how and what should be captured in the achievement. So including a list of achievements on your CV is an excellent way of making your CV stand out from the crowd. And now it includes the following: 1, awards won. If you have won any award in the past, it should be captured under this category. And also, if you are trained in a particular field or you've educated others on particular skill or anything, you should be captured. You've completed an important project on time and within budget. Probably when you were in the university or in your previous job, you were in university as a student leader, you've been appointed maybe the project officer or probably SRC week or an event committee chair. Within this period, you've been able to deliver the project on time and within the budget that has been given. So these are all achievements. Or probably you have increased sales in your previous company by a significant margin. Probably maybe it's a marketing company and that deals with figures and stuff. So when you were employed, you were able to probably raise the annual revenue generated by the company from 6,000 to 12,000, representing a very high percentage, let's say like 80%. Good. So this is an achievement. It must be captured. And maybe qualifications you've gotten or gained, and also good results in examinations and tests. They are all achievements. Okay, don't consider them to be mere results that you have obtained. So you should capture all these things. So another thing that we'll be talking about here is what maybe you have led in a particular organization or club before. You were the captain, or probably you were the manager. Anything that has brought about significant improvement. Yeah, so you should be able to capture it. So those are basically some of the things that you should capture here. When you capture here, it adds more value to what's or the position that you are applying for. Good. So that is it for the achievement. So somebody can ask, so what if you don't have any achievement? That is fine. If you don't have any achievement, it means you have not educated. I mean, you have not educated anybody. You have not undertaken any project. You have not increased any sales, or you've not led in any organization. Well, then it means that you have to intensify or state clearly your skills, and also your personal profile statement must be very intense. I mean, it must be straight to point that will communicate to your prospective employers what you can do. So let's look at an example of an achievement. So let's say this is an example of somebody's achievement. So over 2 years of relevant work experience in the field. It means that in the IT field, the content writing field. Yes. Also 2-1 degree in business management from the University of London. Good. So also student ambassador. 2 open this for Bexley College. So that is it. That is it for a good example of an achievement. It must be clearly stated. Now let's look at the tips. Let's look at the tips. Now, only include relevant accomplishments in this session. Yes, it should be relevant. The word here is what? Relevant. It should be relevant accomplishment. Let's say you can't just go and say, oh, I have driven my daddy's car at a point that my daddy was sick. No, it's not relevant. What accomplishment is that? It's not any accomplishment. So let's say, what again? You've built a house. No, this is not needed here. It's irrelevant. This is not needed. So always remember to include relevant accomplishments in this session. Things that you have done and they are related to, or they are relevant to the job that you're applying for. It must come. Now, do not include more than 3 items under this session. It shouldn't be too much. Yes, for job application. I said from the beginning that this CV that we are looking for, the standard CV we are looking for, or we are going through now, is for job application. That is if you are applying for a job. Yeah, so there are structures that probably you are preparing a CV to suit a scholarship application, or probably for a position. Yes, but for this one, it's purposely for a job application or employment. So the third tip that we want to look at is what? Only use bullet points and short sentences. Don't use long paragraphs. It will not communicate, or it may piss off the reader. So write short sentences that will enable your prospective employer to read, to help them to read. When you are reading more, or when you are writing more sentences, they may end up not reading. They just throw it away somewhere. But if you have very short sentences with bulleting, it aids reading, or it helps reading quickly. So that is it. So not long paragraphs are advised. Long paragraphs are not encouraged in this session. Now again, in this session is optional. If you feel that you haven't gotten anything useful to include here, you can simply omit it and go straight to your education and training session. That is simple. If you think you don't have anything here, it's optional. Just omit it and go ahead. Don't go and give yourself problem. Good. So we want to look at the next one. So now we've come to your education, your educational background. So over here, this is also another important part of your CV that will help your employer. How is it going to help your employer? So here, this session should contain a summary of your educational background. And it is one of the most important parts of your CV. That is what? It informs the reader in brief the education you have received to date, starting with what? The most recent one. Yeah, so over here, it informs your prospective employer the schools you have attended with their respective qualifications and the names of the schools, so that if they really want to check, the cross check, they can do it quickly. Yes. So like you can rightly see from the screen, it should be done from the most recent. For instance, if you have just completed Oxford University or University of Ghana, maybe in 2021, that should come first. That should come first before your senior high school, before your basic school. Okay, probably maybe you also went to a college of education or you went to a polytechnic after the recent university you that you've captured. Then you go back to the in that order. I mean, in that order, you should follow that order. Yeah. So now let's look at the structure, how we can be able to write these things to make it a standard CV. How do we structure your educational details? So this is an example of it. So over here we are looking at what the example. So over here, this person completed Northampton University, and that was between 2013 and 2016. And the person read Bachelor of Science, computer science, and he had first class. First class. Now, from the beginning, we saw that this person was applying for a position of content marketer or writer and stuff, because we saw it from the personal statement, and he was saying that based on his first degree that he has obtained in the required field, he believes that there is so much that he can offer. When you, let's see it, let's see the example here. Good. My first class honors degree in advertising and my extensive experience in this field is a testament to the passion and drive I have succeeded in this competitive industry. So you realize that even the courses that he mentioned here, corporate web content, emails, press releases, newsletter articles, blog posts, and social networking site posts, these are all courses or I mean skills somebody can obtain from what computer science program. So you realize that there's a link between what he's applying for and his qualifications. So one is the relevant modules. I mean, some of the modules that he studied in school or part of the computer science, the programming languages, and some of the languages that he studied were Java, PHP, C++. That's fine. Good. So human computer interaction. Somebody in a way can say what AI, artificial intelligence. So you have the system security and encryption. Yeah, so system security and encryption, which has to do with what computer systems and applications. So we also have the contemporary trends in computer science. Yeah, so the various advancements in technology or emerging technology. So you can all see it. So this was the recent uh, uh, education this guy had. So we can see that it's ranging from 2013 to 2016 downwards. So he completed in 2016. Good. So now let's look at his A level. So he had his A level from 2012 to 2013. That is A level in East London College. East London College. So the result, he was able to ICT add B, Media A, English language. Yeah, you can add this, or you actually it's also optional. The grades are all optional. So that is it. So from 2005 to 2012, he had his what GCSES education. That is certificate, which is what from what's the name of the institution? Is Advanced Secondary School. Advanced Secondary School. So you realize that the result, this is what he had, but it's not so much needed. It's optional. You can omit it. So this is the sample. You realize that we've seen the recent one in that order and maybe the relevant models because it's needed for the course. So you have to add it. So that is it for the education. Yes, education. Education. So from education, let's quickly zoom to what your work experience. Now, this is also another significant part of your CV. Why is it very significant? Because you are you are applying for a job. So at least the employer or the prospective employer should be able to see what you have done in the past, what you have worked. I mean, the various skills you've obtained from that work. We should know. which is going to help us in our current work too. So that is it. So the employment and work experience section of a CV is another crucial part of your CV. Yes, which is dedicated to the work experiences that you have to date, where you have worked before, where you are currently, working. Maybe you are about leaving that place. So entry should be accompanied by the following information. Your work experience. This is the details that must be captured in it. This is the details that must be captured in it. That is the first thing that must be captured in your work experience is what the name of the company you have worked in. For instance, if you have worked in, let's say, I've worked in Emperor's Academy, one of the best IT institutions in the Volta region in the Republic of Ghana, West Africa to be precise. Good. So I've worked in there before. So over here, you should be able to indicate that work experience. So let's say work experience. I want to get to work experience here. So we are saying that the first thing should be what? Your the name of the company. So let's say the name of the company, Emperor's Academy, MPAC. Good. So what is the next item? The next item here is what? The start and the end date. So let's say I worked here. I worked here from 2018 to 2020. Yeah, so that is it. I've worked here. So the next item that you need to include here is what? Your job title. So when I was at Emperor's Academy, what was I doing? So IT instructor. So that was my position at Emperor's Academy. So the last thing was your primary duties. So what are your primary duties? So you should let us know what you were doing there. So one, what was I doing? I was responsible for uh, taking lessons for the various courses from the first level or from the level 100 to 300 in the following courses. Okay, so one of the courses is blogging, YouTube, business, computer basics, database management, word processing. Yes, so these are so that is one objective. So I was also responsible for training staff, that is in-service training or kind of. So these are the descriptions. You do you get it? Yeah. So is there your primary duties and responsibilities. So for your work experience, these are the things that you should capture. So when the prospective employer sees these things, you'll be convinced that no, you have worked here before, you have done this before, you have done that before. Yes. So that should be your target. Your target. That is it. So let's look at another example of it. So this is an example. So this person has worked as a sales and marketing assistant at Primark. The company's name is what? Primark. Yes, the company's name is what? Primark. And we have seen from what? The person started from what? March 2013 to September 2014. Now, main duties performed. That is when the person was at sales and was at Primark as a sales and marketing assistant. What were some of the things that he was doing? So, one, acting as the first point of contact for the shop's existing and new customers. Yes, that was one of the duties that he was assigned. Now, till operation, serving customers and directing them around the shop. Yes, that is another duty. 3, handling customer queries and complaints on a day-to-day basis. That is perfect. 4, giving expert advice on product selection to customers. Yes, those were the duties or the roles that he was performing. So another one is arranging window displays on special promotion. Yes, so when maybe the company is doing a special promotion, this guy had to go, arrange the products on display, probably for exhibition, for people to come and have a look at to see what exactly they are dealing with in the company. So he was doing all other things. And the last one was general cleaning and maintenance of the shop. Yes, these were some of the things that he was doing. So you must add your duties you have performed in those previous companies. You should add them. It adds so much value to what you're applying for. So we want to move to the next thing. That is what? Your skills. Your skills. This is also another important part of your CV. The skills section of a CV is an optional part where you can mention some of the skills and abilities that you possess, which will assist you in the job you're applying for. That's fine. Now, there are a broad range of skills that you can mention, such as, now I'll be talking about that. So I said from the beginning, this skills thing is an optional side though, but it also adds value to your CV. And it's also what it assists you in the job you're applying for. That is, your employers, your prospective employers are able to see the skills that you possess. Sometimes the skills that you possess even speaks volume to your employers, not necessarily the certificate you have obtained. Sometimes somebody can have a certificate or probably first class, but when it comes to the job, the real thing on the ground, the person can't do anything. So the employers this time around, they are more interested in what people can do, not the certificate that you obtain. Certificate is good, but don't focus so much on certificate. Be practical oriented. Be ready to meet the demands of the job, not just certificate. So these are some of the examples of skills that you can maybe where you fall. You are not expected to write all these things, but where you fall, the category in which you fall, you should be able to list it out. So IT skills, that is perfect. IT skills. So when you say IT skills, what does it mean? So being able to use the computer to accomplish tasks. Yes, that is an IT skill. Maybe word processing, you can type and format a text, you can prepare a presentation. Basic things. You can use a computer to perform, accomplish a task. That is fine. So communication is also another skill that you have to indicate. That is, if you have that as your skill. Yes, I'm not saying that these are the things compulsorily you should write in your under your skills. No, but I mean to say that if that is your skill, if you found yourself in that category, just indicate it nicely this way. So communication, what do we mean by this? Being able to listen or talk to people in a constructive manner. Emphasis is on what? Constructive, not in a destructive way. You should be able to what? Listen to people in a constructive manner. That is good. So another one is what? Problem solving. This is also another skill, a very strong skill. In companies today or in businesses today, we have a lot of people who can complain. They can identify all problems, complain every second. The next moment you see them complaining, but they are not able to do anything about the problem. So generally or naturally, some people are good problem solvers. They are able to identify the problem, not just identify it, but being able to bring solutions. Solutions are not predetermined from the sky, but solutions are obtained through brainstorming, being able to think of the problem and bringing out something that you see can help curb the problem. So being able to offer solutions to problems, not just being able to identify problems. Identify problems are fine, but it is good that you also look at bringing solutions or offering solutions. So another one is for interpersonal skills. So the way you relate and interact with others is also another skill that you need to list. That is, if you have it, if you have a very good interpersonal skills, you just have to add it. I am not saying that the skills that I'm talking about you should add all in your CV. No, the point that I'm trying to establish is if you have that skill, list it nicely this way, like the examples I'm trying to give. So another skills, so numerical skills. Now, people are very good with numerals. That is being able to handle numbers, math, and estimations. This person is able to make projections. When you see figures, is able to make projections and handle numbers. Naturally, some people don't know how to handle numbers. That is, let's say you are running a business. Some of them, maybe somebody has brought in Ghana, our currency is cedis. So somebody you are selling, and somebody came to buy a product of 17 cedis. 17 cedis, that is in Ghana. Yes, so maybe the person brought 100 cedis note. So you should know the amount of money that you are giving to that person. Okay, you should know that outrightly you are giving the person 83 cedis. Okay, but you see this person struggling, probably going to give the person 73 cedis. Giving the person 73 cedis, it means that he's not very good with numbers and maths. So that person, that is not your skill. But so if that is your skill, that outrightly somebody buys, even the amount of money to give to the person back, this guy is very good with maths. So it's your skill. These are all the skills. So another skill that I'll be talking about is your analytical skills. Analytical skill. Now, people are very, very, very good with, analysis. They are able to interpret data and bring what resolutions. Bring out good interpretations. For instance, if there's a Ghana Health Service or maybe a health service has been able to conduct research at a point, and they realize that the number of people who don't visit the let's say when they are due for delivery. Let's talk about pregnant women. Let's talk about pregnant women at a particular location. Number of women, they conducted a survey and they realized that a section of the community members always deliver in the house. Only few of them, or let's say out of the total population of the community of, let's say, 1,000, uh, uh, 750 always deliver in the house. So 200 deliver in the hospital, and 50 deliver probably on the route, or maybe in the process when they are going to the hospital. They deliver on the way when they are going. So with that, somebody is quickly able to analyze these figures and be able to say or generalize it that this community, to be precise, they hate to go for, let's say, prenatal at the hospital. Yes, so somebody is able to analyze this data quickly and analyze it, or being able to give meaning to data, analyze the information is a very good skill. If you have it, you should be stated it. Like I said, problem solving is good. Another skill that is so key in this whole thing is teamwork. That is ability or being able to work with other people to achieve a common goal. It's a skill. People are very good at that. You state it. If you're not good at that, fine. Don't just try to be like others. You are not good. You can't work with people to achieve a common goal. That is, and it's also a skill that everybody must learn. It's a skill that everybody must learn. Good. So that is it. Teamwork. Teamwork. Now another thing is what? Leadership skill. Some people are able to read or being able to take responsibility, lead or mentor others. Yes, so that is it. And another group of people also, they are very good with what? Organization. They can be able to plan and schedule a task perfectly. All right, so that is for the skills. So we've spoken about a lot. So where you find yourself, you just quickly fit into it. So let's look at the examples. Okay, example. So an example here is what? Excellent communication skills and telephone manners with the ability to speak in a clear audible, and courteous manner. Very perfectly outlined. Yeah, so with this, when somebody reads this, it is self-explanatory. It is self-explanatory, like I said from the beginning. So another point is what? Computer literate. That is what, with a typing speed of 70 words per minute and the ability to respond to emails and letters in a time efficient manner. Very succinct. You see the way this example was outlined. You are computer literate. That doesn't end there. You have IT skills. It doesn't end there. You should go further to demonstrate in writing what you have or what you can do that shows that you have an IT skill or computer literate. That is what the person is very emphatic to mention the words per minute. That is 70, and it's awesome. And the ability to respond to emails and letters in a time efficient manner. Beautiful. So full clean UK driving license with my own transport. Good. It's also another skill. Yeah, it means that he has a driving license from UK, United Kingdom. Okay. Yeah. So these are all skills that with his own transport system. Now let's look at the tips. Always try to include real world examples with the skills that you have mentioned. Yes, you've gotten it. So you said excellent communication skills and table manners. Good. So this person is able to outline the real world examples to the skill that he has mentioned. So the skills are excellent communication skills. Now, how is this thing related on a real world example? Is what? With the ability to speak in a clear, audible, and courteous manner. That is perfect. Very, very perfect. And the computer literacy, you can see, demonstrated. And also saying that the ability to respond to emails and letters in a time efficient manner. Good. So if you have a computer, you're a computer literate or you have IT skills, these are some of the things you should be able to do. If you can do some of these things, yes, it's clear that you have these skills, or the skills you've mentioned, you are really good at it. And another tip is what? Only include relevant skills that will assist you in the job. Relevant skills that will assist you in the job. Yes, don't just go add anything just in the name of adding anything. So it may even at the end of the day help or fail you or tarnish your CV. So that is it. So that is a good example. I'm sure by this time you are drafting some. Yeah, so I'm sure by this time you are drafting some few things down from the beginning to where we've gotten to now. So we want to quickly look at the your hobbies. Okay, you can use your hobbies or interest section of your CV to demonstrate what you are well-rounded person who is engaged in extracurricular activities and in the community. Yes, so you should be able to mention some of those hobbies. So how will these things help you in your CV? When you have hobbies in your CV, it helps you. One, it will give you, or it will give the recruiter a fuller and more complete picture of you. Yes, when you tell the recruiter or the prospective employer that this is your hobby, your interest and other stuff. Now, sometimes last time when I was preparing the CV, and you can add certain hobbies into. I swim, so I add to it that I swim, or swimming is my hobby. So on the first thing on our like interview, I was asked, you said you swim. So how relevant is this to the job you're applying for now? So the reason why I indicated swimming as a hobby, swimming is basically something we do for fun. Okay. Now when you are swimming, there are a lot of things that happen. You are in the water. You don't even know the depth of the water, but you go into it and you are able to suspend yourself in the water and come out. Now, in the first place, there is something we call risk. There is risk there. You don't know the depth of the water. You don't know how far it has gone, but you still swim. The swimming I'm talking about is not necessarily in a pool, or it's everywhere. Now, another thing, when you are swimming either in a sea, in a river, or in a pond or anything, in a swimming pool or anything. Sorry for saying pond. In an instance where you want to drown, this is an instance where you are battling with your life. So you will do everything possible to survive. So in a way, unconsciously, it's a skill. In the company, relating that to the company, it's simple. This is a company that in maybe at a point it's on the verge of collapsing. The way that you will be able to rescue yourself when you are about to drown, the same skill that I've obtained from swimming, I will apply the same skill in the job. That is, if the company is collapsing, I will try and make sure at all costs to revamp the company. Assuming that it was an instant where I was swimming, I was drowning. Will I say because will you allow yourself to be drowned? No, you bring yourself back. So swimming as a hobby communicates, or when you list your hobbies or interests, it communicates a lot to your recruiters. So it is good you. So sometimes when you add sporting interest, indicate that you are very fit and healthy. Do you get it? Sometimes you may not know, but the employer is able to read minutes into it that yes, this person is very safe. I mean, is very fit and healthy. Now, involvement in community works also indicates that good interpersonal skills. When you indicate that you are involved in the community, it tells the recruiter that this person has what? A good interpersonal skills. Now, outside interest tells the employer that you can have a good time as well. They form a very great basis for discussion at the interview stage. So basically, these are some of the tips or some of the benefits or reasons why it is always good to add your hobbies and your interests to your CV. So let's look at an example. So this is somebody's example. In my free time, I like to focus on my photography hobby, visiting national galleries and meeting new people. I am also very passionate about food, and I enjoy going out to restaurants with my friends and family on a regular basis. Now, this is basically when applying for a catering job. I mentioned earlier that everything you say here should be relevant to the job you're applying for. So over here, what this example I've given you now is what relevant to, or it's applying to instance where you're applying for, or maybe yeah, as a catering for a catering job, as a waiter or a chef or anything. So let's look at some of the tips here. So mention one or two hobbies that are relevant to the job. In the examples above, the person is applying for a catering position and mentions that they have passionate about food and enjoying going out to restaurant. That is very good. To another point, do not include any hobby that do not add value to your application. Simple. Any hobby that does not add value to the job description or your application, don't add it. Just ignore it. So always bear in mind that the priorities of your CV are some of other major sections of your CV, such as the education and employment section. Do not fill up a half page with your hobbies and neglect the most important part. Yes, don't waste so much time writing your hobbies like a full or two paragraph and neglect education. You know, education and employment, these are very key. I mean, your experience, these are very key parts. So focus on those parts. Not don't come and write so much in a hobby and write only one line in education. Good. So we want to look at what your references now. So the references of your CV is the final part, which cannot be entirely omitted. You cannot omit this part. You cannot omit this part. Anybody listening to this tutorial or this lesson, and just making it clear that you must not, this is a part you must not omit. So your references should be two people who you know very well or who know you very well and have worked with you in one way or the other, who can vouch for you to the prospective employer. I mean, somebody who can really vouch and say that this person, I know him, he's trusted, he's hardworking, he's very good, or he's so and so that he claimed in his CV to be. Yeah, somebody who can stand in for you and speak that he really knows you. Yeah, so that is it. So let's look at the components. So for each of your referees, include the following details. So first of all, you must add what? The full name of the person. The full name of the person. Full name of the person. Then you what? The title or the position. Now the work or the address. The telephone number. Also the email address. So these are basically the five components that should be seen in your referee. I'll be speaking on some tips as well, but let's look at what some of the examples of a good referee. So yes, so let's look at this. So an example here is what Mr. Jack Adams, store manager. So this full name, the first one is that full name, then the second one is what store manager. That is your the title or your position. Store manager, exclusive luxury. So the address 5 Summerland Road, Oxford. You see it. Then a telephone number. Telephone number counts. And what? The email address. That is perfect. The full name, the title of the position, then the position will definitely be accompanied with the name of the company or the institution where the person is. So if the person is a pastor or a chief or anything or CEO, you should come. The name of the person, if it's also maybe presiding pastor, the name of the church, the address, the phone number. Yes, that in that order. If it's a company, the position, the CEO, the name of the company, and that order. So let's look at another one too. So Mrs. Angela Willingham. So direct. This is the address. So it's a director or a direct in 360 Vision Limited. So this is the address, telephone number, and the email. So this is basically what you must indicate. This is an example. So the tips: always give the job title of the referees. Otherwise, they can just be your mate for all you know. Yes, maybe you are a student. You can just use your mate. We should see the title of the person. If not, maybe all along we know you are just using your brother or probably your friend, your mate in school. No, that is it. So another important part, the tip that I want to give you: always ask permission of your references before you write them on your CV. It has happened before. It has happened to a lot of people before. So anytime you want to indicate this or put these people on, as a referee on your CV, please ask permission from them. Let them know that you want to add them to your CV before you do it. If not, you might be disappointed. They might be called and you'll be like, they don't know you. Now, if you decide not to include references on your CV, you can write references available upon request. But most of the times, you might not know how busy the system is or how busy the panel or the interview guys got. So just for the benefit of the doubt, just make sure you indicate it and be free. So we want to look at the final tips. As far as a well-structured CV preparation is concerned. So, 1, use appropriate presentational techniques to make your CV easy to scan and read. Simple. The formats you'll be using, always use font sizes and font types that are very legible. Yes, good or appropriate presentational techniques to make your CV easy to scan and read. 2, fit your CV's content into 2 A4 pages. Remove information when necessary. Yes, CVs are always edited based on what you want to use it for. Like I said from the beginning, this presentation is basically for a CV for a job application. Others could be for scholarship. Others could be for anything. So please be guided. Don't forget to proofread your CV for spelling and grammar mistakes. Yes, make sure you go through your CV on several occasions. Check spelling mistakes. Don't have a CV with errors. Where full stops must be, put full stops. Where comma must be, put comma, and all that. Now, that another one issue is what? Tailor your CV for each individual job that you're applying for. For instance, if you're applying for a content writer, edit or tailor your CV to suit the content writing position or job. If it's a catering job, always tailor your CV or edit or format your CV to suit that catering job position. Now, congratulations, you have now written a killer CV, which will dramatically increase your chances of securing a job interview. Good luck. So thank you for your audience. Thank you for taking time to watch this tutorial. Just don't forget, leave your comments. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section. I will be glad to read them. And also, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the hit the ring button to get notifications anytime an update or I publish a new lesson. Keep checking on BAX TV for more inciting lessons. In the subsequent discussions, we'll be looking at how to, even activate your Windows 11 and all of that. Various tips that will be given to you. Thank you so much for your audience. Have a lovely time.